Hello, I'm Ryan Rowley, co-founder and general manager of Thunder DNS. I've also got Megan from our marketing group who will be joining our discussion today. First off, thank you for taking the time to learn more about our company and to explore how we can work together to accomplish great things. Over the next few minutes, we will provide you with an overview of our company, our technology, and our purpose. I'll start by talking about our purpose, since I think it's critical for everyone to understand what we are trying to accomplish. Simply put, our purpose is to protect the next billion. And if you give me a minute, I'll help you understand what that means. Prior to Thunder DNS, I spent several years developing wireless technologies and focusing on connecting the next billion. The industry as a whole has been very successful. Over the past 2 years, nearly 500 million new people connected to the internet. And in the next 5 years, another 2.3 billion people will connect. This represents nearly 3 billion people and hundreds of millions of new businesses going online in a few short years. In addition, these statistics don't include the current explosion of connected devices, which is projected to total 29 billion within the next 5 years. When we started, it was clear that the world is becoming more connected. For us, the real challenge and the real opportunity is to protect those billions of new users, organizations, and devices from security threats. That is our purpose. We are protecting the next billion. Now that you understand our purpose, let me provide you with some company background. My partner Venkatesh and I started the company back in 2016. We're a private company, and we've deployed our solution on 3 continents so far. Our technology is designed to scale, and we expect to be in over 100 countries by the end of 2018. Over the past 2 years, we've built an engineering team in the United States and Europe, and have developed several strategic partners, including Komodo and Cavium. Komodo is a cybersecurity specialist with over 1,000 employees dedicated specifically to cybersecurity. We've integrated their install base and expertise into our solutions. Cavium is a publicly traded chipset manufacturer. They develop high-performance networking and security chipsets. Most enterprise and data center hardware is powered by Cavium chipsets. We've been working with Cavium for almost a year now to build a hardware platform that integrates our software with one of their next-generation chipsets. We also have a few other security, technology, and manufacturing partnerships that we plan to announce in the coming months as we release new products. From a high level, we see security, networking, and artificial intelligence converging, and we are building out our expertise in all of these disciplines. Our first product, Thunder DNS, is a perfect example on how these technologies complement each other. DNS is a traditional networking technology. We are transforming it to provide security, and that security has artificial intelligence integrated into it.
Before we jump into Thunder DNS, I want to make sure we are aligned on what is happening in the cybersecurity market. In my opinion, cybersecurity is a growing problem due to lack of experience, lack of exposure, and lack of budget. Please allow me to explain. For expertise, it comes down to cybersecurity getting very technical, very quickly, and there are not enough technical experts to keep up with the growing demand. When I say lack of exposure is the problem, that can mean any of the following 3 concepts. 1. The rate of technology advances is increasing. That means that current technologies have shorter shelf life and less time to get all the bugs worked out than previous solutions. 2. Increased user adoption means there are billions of inexperienced users that don't know the difference between an ad pop-up and a malicious link. 3. The development of new security threats is increasing. Millions of new issues are created each day, and it is difficult to keep up with all the threats. The lack of budget issue is the most easy to understand, and there are 2 main drivers for this problem. The first is that with limited expertise, big business can charge whatever they want, and they have decided it's better to focus only on servicing the enterprise market. The second is that new adopters often have the most limited financial means. They simply cannot afford security services and become the most vulnerable. These are the problems we are focused on tackling. We built out our own expertise in cybersecurity. We are using artificial intelligence to group the collective exposure of all customers, and we are disrupting the existing pricing models to enable security adoption.
We created a security graphic that illustrates how users connect and how multi-layered security is implemented. At the core are the users. This is because all communications are designed to help someone do something, whether it's checking email, watching a video, or trying to understand the complexities of nuclear fusion. It's all about helping the user accomplish something. Devices either provide a way for the user to communicate directly with the internet, like all of us do on our computers, or the device itself connects directly in behalf of the user. And that's really common with IoT applications. The network allows the devices and users to communicate with each other, and the internet allows multiple networks to communicate with each other. Now, best practices in cybersecurity is to implement what's called multi-layered security, which is having elements of security at each layer. So for example, for the user layer, you could implement trainings to help users identify security threats. Most everybody is familiar with companies that offer device-level security or endpoint protection. And firewalls, IDS, IPS, UTMs all focus on network-level security. For us, our Thunder DNS product is at that internet layer. It focuses on providing the first layer of protection against exterior security threats. Now, it would be ideal to incorporate security on all levels, but we all have limited resources, and my recommendation is always to push for some protection rather than nothing at all. For us, we plan to offer multiple layers of security, and we decided to start with a DNS-based security solution because it's universal, it's scalable, and it's low cost. It's universal because pretty much every communication starts with a DNS query. It's a 40-year-old technology, and it's used everywhere by everything. It works on all devices, including the upcoming IoT devices, and it's not impacted by encryption. It's scalable. DNS was designed to navigate all internet traffic. The communications are lightweight, simple, and very efficient. A DNS server can easily provide service for tens of thousands of users and devices. And it's low cost. Having all the technology in the world means nothing unless people can afford to implement it. DNS security can be extremely low cost, and that makes it more effective.
Thunder DNS is about transforming 40-year networking technology into a powerful security solution. Let's make sure you understand how the basic DNS works before reviewing how we transformed it. When it comes to the internet, the basic DNS is the modern-day Yellow Pages. DNS does a simple lookup for any domain and provides the corresponding IP address so the device can start a connection. Here is how the process works. A user or device wants to access a domain on the internet, and it sends a DNS lookup query to find out the IP address they should contact. The DNS keeps a list of popular sites on hand and has a lookup system for irregular DNS requests. Once DNS looks up the domain, it responds with the IP address. The user or device gets the correct IP address from DNS, and the device establishes a connection with the host server. One item to note is that if DNS does not provide an IP address for the requested domain, then the user or device cannot access the domain. This point is especially important because almost all malware, ransomware, and phishing use DNS, and we can use the built-in DNS failure protocol to block threats before they cause problems. This is exactly what we do with our next generation security solution.
The next generation of DNS technology not only performs the standard DNS functions, but it also integrates powerful security and intelligence at a low cost. The primary benefit DNS security has over other options is that Thunder DNS security gets to leverage all the benefits of a normal DNS server for security purposes. It has the ability to protect all traffic for any device, and it can stop any connection from taking place. It's a natural gatekeeper with a proven track record to control network traffic every time a device wants to access the open internet. In addition to acting as a firewall, we've integrated intelligence into Thunder DNS. It records every single query and starts looking for patterns in the data to understand if the request is dangerous or not. We anonymize the collected data and we combine it from all customers to create a massive data set. And we use this data set to discover hidden patterns that cannot be seen without the use of big data. The information we learn is used to update our backend database, and we push updates automatically to all customers. Because we are using the built-in DNS mechanisms for our security, we may be the most efficient and low-cost security solution on the market.
All right, now we can get to the fun stuff. Let's discuss the features of Thunder DNS. Thunder DNS technology provides 4 unique features that are not offered by a traditional DNS server: DNS Cloud Firewall, anomaly detection, content filtering, and network reporting. Our Thunder DNS Cloud Firewall is designed to protect the next billion from known threats lurking on the internet. Using DNS as a firewall allows Thunder DNS to do things that a traditional firewall cannot do. First off, Thunder DNS doesn't usually sit on a hardware box on site, and it primarily blocks DNS queries instead of IPs and ports. The problem with basic IP and port blocking is that modern internet has evolved. CDNs and the cloud mean that threats can easily change their IP address or port to get around traditional solutions. Also, DNS firewall is different from an on-premise device because it supports mobility. Devices can be secured on any network from anywhere. That means employees accessing sensitive information can be protected at the office and at home. Another advantage of the cloud firewall is that it constantly is updated to protect against new threats or zero-day attacks.
Our cloud firewall protects users from known threats, while anomaly detection is all about identifying and protecting against new and unknown threats. Anomaly detection is probably my favorite feature of Thunder DNS because it's powerful and very few alternative solutions offer this type of technology. First off, a huge relevant data set is required in order to provide accurate results. Our solution aggregates around 300 million queries from 180 different countries every single day. We use this large data set to provide context for individual connections to identify anomalies and unknown threats. Let me provide you with an example. In DNS technology, there is something called a non-existent domain failure, or NX domain. This happens on occasion when you mistype a domain or you go to an old invalid link, but overall, it's not very common in a healthy network. With that said, we sometimes see thousands of NX failures coming from infected devices with malware or ransomware. In this case, the malware is using an algorithm to try to connect to its mothership, but it doesn't know the exact domain or IP address that it should be getting. Thunder DNS can identify this happening, and it can send an alert on the infected device so it can be quarantined before it reaches its mothership. In this example, we benchmark the expected NX failures to the current failure rate. We compare them over time, and we use statistics to identify anomalies. We can also profile the queries and look for patterns. Think of this like a connect the dots picture game, where you draw lines between the dots to create a pattern. The more data points you have, the more detailed the pattern will become. We decided to add content filtering in Thunder DNS to protect the next billion from having to view unwanted content. Over the past few years, content filtering has become a popular feature both for the work environment and at home. Thunder DNS allows for a customized internet experience. Content filtering rules can be implemented for the entire network or for specific users or devices. The most simplistic filtering we provide is domain filtering, where you can whitelist or blacklist any specific domains that you want to filter or unfilter. Thunder DNS can also categorize every domain into 50 different categories based on the content of the website or domain. Users can block entire categories such as adult content, ads, or drugs, depending on their preferences. In addition to content categories, we also rate each domain to allow filtering based on the intended audience. Our rating categories are kid safe, teen safe, safe for work, and open. Lastly, in certain situations, it makes sense to filter out international communications to provide another layer of security. In this situation, we allow for filtering against the IP blocks of specific countries.
Thunder DNS incorporates reporting into our solution so users can quickly understand how they are being protected and what security holes exist on their network. We provide two types of reporting. The first is on our system dashboard. In the dashboard, we provide information about each user, domain, and category of each domain on the network. We also identify the threat we have blocked and the content we filtered, so users can quickly see how Thunder DNS is protecting them. Information on the GUI updates with a few seconds, and users can also look back at historical data to help root the cause of other networking issues. The second type of reporting we offer is a standard weekly report. This report provides a high-level overview of threats encountered during the week and overall network performance. So these are the major features we have built into Thunder DNS. We took a basic DNS server and transformed it to provide security by implementing a DNS cloud firewall, anomaly detection, content filtering, and reporting.
Service providers have a few alternatives to Thunder DNS. The most common approach is to use an open source DNS solution. These open source solutions have been around for a long time and they do work. Unfortunately, they are based on very old technology and they do not provide the security features that Thunder DNS offers. There are a few commercial solutions available that are on the market. Unfortunately, they either don't really focus on security or they are designed for tier 1 operators and they are very expensive, usually costing over $100,000 per server. We want to incentivize service providers to protect their subscribers, and we've tried to build a pricing model that allows them to bundle Thunder DNS into their current service offerings or sell Thunder DNS as a low-cost standalone security service. Many businesses already leverage DNS for security. This makes sense because most organizations try to optimize their workplace, and they're willing to pay to protect employees and company information. In fact, Thunder DNS competes against the tech giants, such as Cisco and Oracle, which already offer DNS security products to the enterprise. Although Thunder DNS offers similar security features to those tech giant services, our strategy is not focused on direct competition. Instead, our goal is to increase new user adoption and build the customer base for DNS security. To start, our focus is to provide a significantly lower cost solution so that smaller, more price-sensitive businesses can adopt. We also provide some unique features that the other guys don't offer. For example, we have some networking magic we've built into Thunder DNS to protect users behind private IP addresses. Let's finish off our discussion by providing you with common concerns from service providers and businesses that are already using Thunder DNS. The most common concern we receive is about how to set up Thunder DNS on their network. Thunder DNS is a virtual image software product. It can be loaded onto any hardware that supports virtualization. We offer 3 different image types, VMDK, VDI, and QCOW2, and images are tested to work on VMware and Linux KVM servers. Most companies deploying our solution already have a footprint in the data center, and they host the solution locally. If not, they can always take advantage of our image and load it onto cloud servers, such as AWS. Either way, they will have full control of the servers and the user experience. For those planning to host Thunder DNS, we often get asked, what are the hardware requirements for the virtual image? First off, the hardware requirements vary depending on how many users and devices will be using the service. My general rule of thumb is you need hardware that supports virtualization, a dual core or better processor of 1.5 gigahertz or above, at least 4 gigs of RAM, and 10 gigabytes of hard disk space for every few thousand users. In most cases, the service providers can reuse their existing DNS server hardware and just upgrade to our image. Performance. We get asked a lot about how our Thunder DNS solution will impact the end user or device experience. Thunder DNS was built with the end customer in mind, and we optimize our solution to balance powerful security and seamless performance. In general, end users will not be impacted by Thunder DNS for 97% or more of their network traffic. So what about those last percentages? Well, we profile the most risky, irregular queries, and we do a real-time security check for each one of those queries. Typically, high-risk or irregular queries represents less than 1% of all queries running on the network. Also, our solution supports prefetching to limit the quantity of checks on a single risky domain. Thunder DNS Virtual Image has no max user limitations. The only limitation is going to be on the physical hardware running our solution. We monitor the server and we provide statistics so users can understand where their hardware is hitting max capacity. In those cases, they can quickly set up another server and load balance the queries. We get asked about incorporating new features into our solution all the time. In general, we develop features that are forward-looking and that will benefit the most customers and end users. Content filtering is an example of a feature that we developed based on customer requests. Future features we are considering developing are a mobile app or authoritative DNS support. Please let us know about any user feature requests so we can continue to provide the best possible solution to the market. The last item we will discuss today is future product offerings. As we mentioned earlier, we are looking to provide security at multiple layers. We expect to announce a hardware solution that complements Thunder DNS in the coming months. Well, that's all that we plan to share for today. Hopefully it helped you understand a little bit more about our company. Thanks again for your interest, and we look forward to working with you to protect the next billion.